feel bad that the one movie about hipster hats that we saw, you don't wear a hat.
They wore fedoras.
Okay.
Fedoras are for douches.
Yeah.
And I'm super glad I didn't wear a hat, because then I would look like a piece of shit.
In front of Naomi Watts.
I know, right?
So we saw...
She would be like, don't you understand the point of this movie is people who wear hats lose. That is for creeps. Stop wearing hats, you. I'll be like, damn, you got a point.
So we saw While We Were Young. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, okay, have you seen any of Noah Baumbach's any of his movies?
Unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, even I haven't yet. Though, like, I have Greenberg and Francis Ha.
Francis Ha?
Yeah.
I'm saying that like I know what it is, but I have no fucking idea.
I have that. We have that on our queue, and by our queue, I mean my Netflix queue.
The queue means nothing to me.
You just look up everything.
Yeah, I don't know what the queue is. It's always the same thing. It's like Beverly Hills Cop, 30 Rock,
I know.
random other gibberish. I'm like, Terminator's up here? What is this?
Because you can always rewatch Terminator
Can
too.
you?
Yeah, Terminator's great. I rewatched it like twice in like the last 2 months. It was great.
Hey, I can watch Coraline nonstop.
Okay.
Like, that's a thing I can just go back to. So I got you on the whole rewatching shit for no reason.
You know, While We Were Young. Like, normally Noah Baumbach is known for a lot more, sort of, not quite slower, but like, you know how a lot of indie movies, like comedies nowadays, are all about sort of improvisation, or like things that just keep going on and on?
Oh, like lengthening out a joke, because it sure didn't sound like he was in an improvisation based off that Q&A.
I know.
He's like, oh, you want to improv that bit? Sure, that's a great bit. Die.
No, but when the guy was talking about like the documentary angle, I thought that was like his way of like helping like a surrogate like observe, like it's a way of sort of not objectifying, but sort of like creating a framing device for like how his observations,
how he's feeling,
or how he his observations of like, you know, the hipster generation.
that they're fake, and
Yeah.
he wants it to be true, but they're just doing it to be fake.
Yeah,
Like that hipsters are fake. They want you to feel like it's a thing,
it's really good.
but they're just lying to you
It's
for
a
the
little
point of their own profit. Is
the
that
twist
like
at
what
the
you're going for?
the twist at the end is a little confusing with the whole theme, because the movie is generally like, at the beginning I thought like it's about like sort of the two
I saw the twist
generations.
coming. You start seeing the twist coming. I was totally expecting there to be a beta movie that the guy was making, or that the actual movie, instead of about Kent, was about Ben Stiller's character making his movie and failing. Because
Yeah.
he kept videotaping him. I was like, oh, this is gonna come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, it keeps
Are you
coming up.
following me?
I'm like, whoa, is there gonna be like, his whole movie isn't actually about this Kent stuff?
It's like a decline.
It's about Ben Stiller failing at making a documentary. I
Yeah.
super thought that's what it was gonna be about.
That would probably been a little bit more interesting, honestly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're airing his movie today. What? It's not about a war hero? It's about me totally failing at this?
No!
Oh, I hate you, hipsters!
When they're showing the screening, I didn't know that was his movie. I thought this was another entirely different movie. This is watching a movie party.
Yeah, me too.
Until like the
Oh, no, when it was the screening,
douchebag
I
Grant
saw
guy.
that. No, I saw
Until they had like the Grant guy. Because like, that movie was the bomb!
I want people to be him. I want that to be a real thing.
What
Like,
do you
people
mean?
are just like weird, douchey, Grant people who really like hipsters.
so what
Like,
is
I
it
feel
about?
like I want that to be a thing, but then it totally is not a thing. Like, you're not gonna see some business like, bam, dude, that was the schneez, boof. Like, I feel like that's not gonna be a thing I'm ever gonna find.
This is like a Black Shawshank. I love that because like it's like in
I love
in
the
Africa.
complete disconnect, and you're like, yeah, Ben Stiller movies does sound horrible, and yes, it doesn't make sense, and this douchey guy is like, what? And you're like, yep.
Yeah. But yeah, for the first half of the movie, I thought it was about like how both generations can sort of complement
Meld
each other.
together.
Yeah.
And then it's about how the younger one will just backstab you and feed on your corpse.
Because I remember, like when they had the whole montage of like comparing different technologies, like him and Ben Stiller and Naomi Watts, they have Apple TV, they have CDs. While he's using Adam Driver and Amanda Seyfried, they're listening to vinyls, or have like outdated. Yes, she's good in the movie.
That is so fade, man.
And they're watching everything in VHS, and I thought it was interesting how, like...
I thought it was like a full circle thing, how like, okay, so in the middle, like 20s or something, they're being super hipster and they're doing the old stuff that maybe they were doing in their 20s.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. And then as they get older, they start going into tech, so these people are going to start going into tech, and at the start of your life with the kid with the iPhone, it was like, oh, and they're back to tech. It's kind of like a wheel, where it's like, okay, you're super techie, then you start to resist against the tech, and then you go back into the tech because you're lazy. I kind of thought it was like a whole, this is how the circle works.
Yeah.
Like, you'll start to be born on it. Oh.
And there's a bit of the whole generation stuff, because, like, they're having dinner with, like, their older, like, 40-year-old friends. And
why in the world does CNN need a sign in which the white line moves? Like, it's an animated sign for CNN. Oh, CNN is so fucking exciting. It needs a sign that moves. CNN's so cutting edge. That sign, it just doesn't make sense to me.
That reminds me, like, they showed Daily Show for a bit in the movie, and there was, like, a whole bit about that Jon Stewart did when there had the whole Malaysian airline crisis happen around this time last year. And CNN, like, went all out on it. They had holograms and like hours and hours and days and weeks worth of like footage of like what really happened, what could have happened, what did happen. Oh, we're talking about a movie.
God, that line. Why CNN?
And there's the whole point of like, you know, it used to be rude to just look at your phone at dinner. Now it's just okay.
It's kind of like we start like an evolve towards the technology, then we start to devolve, and now we just kind of fall back into it. And then
it's interesting how like they show like the older people, they're using the more advanced technology, while the younger couple they're doing
like hipstery things.
They're doing
those
older
couples did when they were doing that, and it's seeming like those people are the adults and that the other people aren't. Yeah. I thought they were kind of going for a bit of that, where it's like, oh, they're the adult, but then.
And that would have been that would have been interesting. And like it is interesting.
The whole part where Ben Stiller keeps having to pay, that joke kind of undermined that whole thing, where it's like, oh, the people are kind of acting like the parents, but that whole thing kind of undermined it.
Yeah, and plus, like, it didn't go with the rule of three. And that they didn't do it the third time. He does it twice, and you think it's gonna pay off the third time. It's like someone either like his
something different's gonna happen.
Either his dad-in-law or. Adam Driver's character, he does it, but no, it just stops. I assume it's probably somewhere in the cutting room floor.
I think it's not supposed to be a
running joke.
No, it's not supposed to be like a plot point. Like, oh, we're gonna keep this going, and here's where it pays off.
Yeah,
it's more of like a character design thing. Where it's like, they're still hipsters. They're not gonna pay, and it kind of shows that he's using him to get his food. Like, he invites him to this place to use him. It's setting up the whole using him thing. Yeah. So the rule of three wouldn't pay off. Otherwise, it's its own thing instead of a complement to that rule that's happening.
Yeah.
Although it does super undermine the whole part where it's like he seems like he's being the adult instead of Ben Stiller, who's trying to be like a kid, and it seems like that other person's getting there. They kind of just like give up on that part. Yeah. That whole like subplot thing going on. Though,
because like the guy, like, even in the Q&A, he said he wanted to do a thriller for like 2 minutes, and to be fair, I was thrown off.
Yeah, I was like thrown off by it.
Yeah, it's like, this is tense, and there's a whole point where he's confronting Adam Driver when he's doing this speech. It's like he's gonna throw him like out the window or something.
I know, right? I was like, is he gonna pull out a gun?
Yeah. And you're like, I have no idea what's going on.
No clue where this is going.
And seeing the trailer, I was like. And I was like to Nick, it's like me neither. All I know is like it's just gonna end with like Ben Stiller's shirt on fire, and he's gonna drown off. But still, and he's like, I am an old man. It's like, I'm trying to figure out what's the exact point of this, because it's not exactly pro or anti hipster.
I think it's just using hipsters as a catalyst to show that these people are changing and realizing that they're not supposed to change at this point, and they have to accept that they're older.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like it's like a chip for a dip, but you really want the dip. The chip is just to get the dip.
Yes, that sounds like a metaphor that worked.
And then there's that whole before and after thing that
it's a little true.
That starts to get in there. It's like, oh, people want a before and after, blah blah blah. And then this movie itself, it has a before and after. It's like, oh, we don't want kids. Fuck kids. Look how bad having a kid is. And at the very end, they're like, oh, we're adopting a kid.
I think
it's like the before and after kind of thing, but there's not as much of a change as like in the middle. It's like before, middle has changed a lot, and then after it's this one aspect.
Yeah.
Like this whole middle reaction meant nothing.
Exactly.
You could literally take out the entire middle of the movie and just be like, hey, we don't want a kid. And then just show the end. We got a kid!
Yeah.
This is just how like it changes and comes back.
I feel like we explained so much about the message of the movie that we forgot to say if it's good or not. And it's pretty good. It is pretty funny.
There was that whole first, like, I don't know, 5 minutes where they were just doing stuff and everyone was laughing. And I super don't get it.
No, I was like confused about
I have zero clue why they're laughing.
When they open up with the text from Master Builder.
I also had zero clue why everyone's laughing.
It's like, I get the joke, but like, it's not that funny.
It's not that funny.
It's something really old and fancy, and to be fair, yeah.
Back then, cutting edge. Now we're just like, is this what you're going for?
And like, but it is like, it does turn out, I wasn't worried that you were gonna like it, but eventually it did start to pick up pretty easily. Because it does have this great energy in terms of editing and just like having...
I don't know. I love all the hipster culture jokes. Like the land beach thing. I was like, come on, hipster jokes. I can't accept that as a real thing. It's just so absurd.
I like the design.
I think any excuse to put Amanda Seyfried in a bikini, though.
That's great, yeah.
It's just such a weird thing.
Yeah.
The like sidewalk beach. I'm like, no.
They were like,
is this a thing?
I like his apartment though.
But I want it to be.
You and I like the apartment because it's like it's a sign that says this away and it keeps going around. It's like keep going.
I love that part.
I love it. And
one more flight, almost there.
And Naomi Watts has a great line. It's like their apartment looks like all the stuff we threw out, but for some reason
they put it together. And it looks
they make it look great.
Everybody's all, you started smoking? What?
And it's like, fuck you. But not like the semi-playful fuck you.
Fuck you, like, but in a playful way. Well, fuck you.
And like hardcore.
Well, then fuck you hardcore.
Straight to the core.
I feel like it's a good movie to look back on. During the movie, you're kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's the point here? Okay, I see where this plot is building to.
It definitely has a much more energy, I think, than I thought it would. Because, like, there's a certain, like...
But I still don't understand the first 5 minutes.
Oh, well, yeah.
Why was everyone laughing?
Because
they
were probably the youngest people in the audience.
Like, what? I don't know. There was, like, a cute girl next to me who seemed pretty young.
I know, but we're under 20. Everyone else probably is at least
definitely
at least 20 or over.
But then that was like a 40-year-old person joke or something, and I just didn't get it. I was like, why is this part funny?
I thought I didn't laugh at it.
Did we like exchange glances when that one girl sat next to me? I felt like there was an exchange of glances, like
I thought you. When I looked at her, I was like, "That's Nick's type." So
it's close.
You're welcome, Nick.
Yeah, I was like, I picked the right seat. There was just like a behemoth sitting in front of me.
Yeah,
like a lady fucking behemoth.
Yeah.
During the Q&A, I kept being like,
that was
"You bitch, be shorter." At least during the movie, she was like leaning really hard to be on the other guy's shoulder. Like, I'm gonna make a definite effort because of how much taller I am than every other thing in the universe to be on your shoulder. Effort. I'm like, fine, just stop sitting up. I hate you. It's not reasonable for someone to be that tall.
Okay, I think we're in on that classic Nick rant now. Thanks for watching. So, while we're young, yeah, I'd recommend
ranting.
I recommend it.
It's alright.
Bye.